Good morning. It's a beautiful Wednesday morning and we're back once again with a fresh edition of Breakfast News. I'm Preeti. With me is Rukma. And in the next 1 hour, we'll get you through everything that's making it to the headlines to make sure that your tea or coffee remains good and tastes even better in the morning. When we talk of beginning the show, beginning the day, let's start this day with a beautiful positive thought. Rukma, it says look for something positive in your day, even if you have to look for it a little bit harder. Remember, it's in these small, minute things that you find positivity, that you find happiness. And on this happy note, let's start the bulletin. Let's start the day ahead.
Right, and keeping that as the thought for the day, let me tell you that over the next 1 hour, we bring you all the top stories making headlines across India and the world in every segment in every sphere of our lives, whether it's the national news, the Prime Minister addressing Aligarh Muslim, IISF, also he is to indulge in an engagement with Shanti Niketan.
Yes.
Also, the latest advancements as far as the vaccine development is concerned, airports ready for redistribution and so on. Also, news from sports as well as the web. But first, here are the headlines.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi calls upon global community to invest in Indian talent at the inauguration of IISF 2020. Says government aims to make India the most trusted centre of scientific education.
Farmers Associations of Uttar Pradesh and Delhi NCR meet Union Agriculture Minister Narendra Singh Tomar. Support new agrarian reforms. Agriculture Minister expresses hope of receiving a meaningful response to letter sent by the government.
Major success for BJP in DDC elections in Jammu and Kashmir. Massive gains in Jammu. BJP sees success in the valley as well. Gupkar Alliance emerges as the largest alliance. BJP says people support the PM's vision for a new Kashmir.
CBSE board examinations for classes 10 and 12 not to be held in February in view of COVID-19 pandemic. Dates to be announced soon. Government says it has always worked in the interest of students.
India scripts new victory in the fight against COVID. Total number of active cases in the country fall below 3 lakh. Recovery rate is more than 95%. Health Ministry says no evidence of new strain in India so far.
Israel to hold its 4th elections in 2 years after two main parties in unity government failed to meet deadline in row over state budgets.
All right, those are the top stories we're tracking this hour. Now let's get to details of the national headlines first.
Right. Well, as we were telling you, the Prime Minister delivered the inaugural address at the India International Science Festival 2020. Union Minister Dr. Harshvardhan was also present on the occasion. Speaking on the occasion, the Prime Minister said India has a rich legacy in science, technology and innovation, and that our scientists have done path-breaking research. Our tech industry is at the forefront of solving global problems, but India wants to do more. We look at the past with pride but want an even better future.
आज के इस फेस्टिवल में हम साइंस को सेलिब्रेट कर रहे हैं। हम उस ह्यूमन स्पिरिट को भी सेलिब्रेट कर रहे हैं जो हमें लगातार इनोवेट करने के लिए प्रोत्साहित करती है। फ्रेंड्स, इंडिया हैज ए रिच लीगेसी इन साइंस, टेक्नोलॉजी एंड इनोवेशन. Our scientists have done path-breaking research. Our tech industry is at the forefront of solving global problems. But India wants to do more. We look at the past with pride, but want an even better future.
Prime Minister Modi asserted that the new national education policy will help to foster scientific temper from an early age, and that now the focus has shifted from outlays to outcome, from textbooks to research and application. He said the policy will encourage the creation of a pool of top quality teachers. This approach, he said, will help budding scientists.
आज भारत के एजुकेशन सिस्टम में स्ट्रक्चरल रिफॉर्म्स किए जा रहे हैं ताकि किताबी ज्ञान से आगे निकलकर स्पिरिट ऑफ इंक्वायरी को बढ़ावा मिले। 3 दशक के लंबे समय के बाद देश को नेशनल एजुकेशन पॉलिसी मिल चुकी है। इस पॉलिसी के एजुकेशन सेक्टर को फोकस ही बदल गया है। पहले आउटलेस पर फोकस था, अब आउटकम्स पर है। पहले टेक्स्ट बुक की पढ़ाई पर फोकस था, अब रिसर्च और एप्लीकेशन पर है। नई नेशनल एजुकेशन पॉलिसी एक ऐसा माहौल देश में बनाने पर भी फोकस कर रही है जिससे टॉप क्वालिटी टीचर्स का एक पूल देश में तैयार हो सके। ये अप्रोच हमारे नए और उभरते साइंटिस्ट को भी मदद करेगी, एनकरेज करेगी।
The Prime Minister said that Atal Innovation Mission and Atal Tinkering Labs complement the new education system.
एजुकेशन सेक्टर में जो ये बदलाव किए जा रहे हैं, इनको कॉम्प्लीमेंट करने के लिए अटल इनोवेशन मिशन भी शुरू किया गया है। ये मिशन इंक्वायरी को, एंटरप्राइज को, इनोवेशन को एक प्रकार से सेलिब्रेट करता है। इसके तहत देश भर के अनेक स्कूलों में अटल टिंकरिंग लैब्स तैयार किए जा रहे हैं जो इनोवेशन के नए प्लेग्राउंड सिद्ध हो रहे हैं। इन लैब से हमारे स्कूलों में साइंस से जुड़ा इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर बेहतर हो रहा है।
Addressing the conference, Union Health Minister Dr. Harshvardhan said that during the pandemic, India has provided drugs, medical equipment and assistance to many countries. He added that India will play a vital role in making vaccines accessible and affordable to the whole world.
डिजिटल टेक्नोलॉजी से सामान्य भारतीयों को ताकत भी दी है और सरकारी सहायता की सीधी तेज डिलीवरी का भरोसा भी दिया है। आज गांव में इंटरनेट यूजर्स की संख्या शहरों से ज्यादा है। गांव का गरीब किसान भी डिजिटल पेमेंट कर रहा है। आज भारत की एक बड़ी आबादी स्मार्टफोन आधारित ऐप से जुड़ चुकी है। आज भारत ग्लोबल हाईटेक पावर के इवोल्यूशन और रिवोल्यूशन दोनों का सेंटर बन रहा है। साथियों, भारत अब विश्व स्तरीय शिक्षा, स्वास्थ्य, कनेक्टिविटी, गरीब से गरीब तक, गांव-गांव तक पहुंचाने के लिए हाईटेक सॉल्यूशंस बनाने और अपनाने के लिए तत्पर है।
Prime Minister Narendra Modi there reiterating India's future as providing world-class health, world-class education and world-class connectivity, pointing out to the bright future that India has. As we were telling you, Union Health Minister Dr. Harshvardhan also addressed the conference. Here's what he said.
Our Honorable Prime Minister, while speaking at the virtual G20 summit recently, said that India has now become a significant player in structuring the post-COVID global economy. India has continued a sustained and regular engagement with other countries for the development and manufacturing of the vaccine and is optimistic that it shall play a vital role in making vaccines accessible and affordable to the whole world.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi, addressing the Aligarh Muslim University on its centenary celebrations, described the university campus like a city in itself, a mini India with departments, hostels, thousands of students and professors. He said that the university's contribution to education is India's valuable heritage.
पॉलिटिक्स इंतजार कर सकती है, सोसाइटी इंतजार कर सकती है, देश का डेवलपमेंट का इंतजार नहीं कर सकता। गरीब समाज के किसी भी वर्ग का हो वो इंतजार नहीं कर सकता। महिलाएं, वंचित, पीड़ित, शोषित विकास का इंतजार नहीं कर सकते। सबसे बड़ी बात, हमारे युवा, आप सभी और इंतजार नहीं करना चाहेंगे। पिछली शताब्दी में मतभेदों के नाम पर बहुत वक्त पहले ही जाया हो चुका है। अब वक्त नहीं गंवाना है। सभी को एक लक्ष्य के साथ मिलकर नया भारत, आत्मनिर्भर भारत बनाना है।
Prime Minister Narendra Modi's message to all the Indians. Prime Minister addressed the centenary celebrations of Aligarh Muslim University on Tuesday through video conference. Prime Minister also released a postal stamp commemorating the event. Calling the youth attending the celebrations as partners, Prime Minister said that ideological differences are natural, but added that for attainment of national goals, all differences must be set aside.
सियासत और सत्ता की सोच से बहुत बड़ा, बहुत व्यापक किसी भी देश का समाज होता है। पॉलिटिक्स के ऊपर भी समाज को आगे बढ़ाने के लिए बहुत स्पेस होती है। न्यू इंडिया के विजन की जब हम बात करते हैं तो उसके मूल में भी यही है कि राष्ट्र के, समाज के विकास को राजनीतिक चश्मे से न देखा जाए। हां, जब हम इस बड़े उद्देश्य के लिए साथ आते हैं तो संभव है कि कुछ तत्व इससे परेशान हो। ऐसे तत्व दुनिया की हर सोसाइटी में मिल जाएंगे। ये कुछ ऐसे लोग होते हैं जिनके अपने स्वार्थ होते हैं। वो अपने स्वार्थ को सिद्ध करने के लिए हर हथकंडा अपनाएंगे, हर प्रकार की नेगेटिविटी फैलाएंगे। लेकिन जब हमारे मन और मस्तिष्क में नए भारत का निर्माण सर्वोच्च होगा तो ऐसे लोगों का स्पेस अपने आप में सिकुड़ता जाएगा।
The Prime Minister also stressed that India is proceeding on a path where every citizen is assured of his or her constitution-given rights and no one should be left behind. He said that this is the basis of the pledge Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas, Sabka Vishwas.
बिना किसी भेदभाव कोरोना के इस समय में 80 करोड़ देशवासियों को मुफ्त अन्न सुनिश्चित किया गया। बिना किसी भेदभाव आयुष्मान योजना के तहत 50 करोड़ लोगों को 5 लाख रुपए तक का मुफ्त इलाज संभव हुआ। जो देश का है वो हर देशवासी का है और इसका लाभ हर देशवासी को मिलना ही चाहिए। हमारी सरकार इसी भावना के साथ काम कर रही है।
Prime Minister further added that the government is very focused on the education of the Muslim daughters and their empowerment. He said that education brings with it employment and entrepreneurship. The two of these things bring economic independence, which in turn can assure empowerment of the women.
एक समय था जब हमारे देश में मुस्लिम बेटियों का ड्रॉप आउट रेट, शिक्षा में से ड्रॉप आउट रेट 70% से ज्यादा था, 70% से ज्यादा था। मुस्लिम समाज की प्रगति में बेटियों का इस तरह पढ़ाई बीच में छोड़ना हमेशा से बहुत बड़ी बाधा रहा है। लेकिन 70 साल से हमारे यहां स्थिति यही थी कि 70% से ज्यादा मुस्लिम बेटियां अपनी पढ़ाई पूरी नहीं कर पाती थी। आज देश के सामने क्या स्थिति है? पहले मुस्लिम बेटियों का जो स्कूल ड्रॉप आउट रेट 70% से ज्यादा था, वो अब घटकर करीब करीब 30% रह गया है।
Prime Minister said that the new education policy has interdisciplinary subjects similar to one already being taught at the AMU. He added that the aspiration of India's youth has been given priority in the new education policy. He also said that in the last 100 years, Aligarh Muslim University has also worked to strengthen India's relations with many countries of the world. With input from Sudhakar Das, DD India.
A delegation of Farmers Association coming from Uttar Pradesh, Delhi and adjoining areas met Agriculture Minister Narendra Singh Tomar in New Delhi. The farmers' representatives extended their support to the new farm laws. They also made certain suggestions relating to these laws. Besides, they also submitted a memorandum to Agriculture Minister Narendra Singh Tomar. The Agriculture Minister said that he had a constructive meeting with the representatives to farmers' unions.
अनेक किसान यूनियन के पदाधिकारीगण आए थे और उनकी ये चिंता है कि सरकार बिलों में कोई संशोधन करने जा रही है। उन्होंने कहा कि ये बिल किसानों की दृष्टि से बहुत कारगर हैं, किसानों के लिए फायदे में हैं और बिल में किसी भी प्रकार का परिवर्तन नहीं किया जाना चाहिए। ये मांग करने के लिए वो आए थे। उन्होंने अपनी बात भी की, उनके मन में जो भ्रांति थी और बाकी जो समस्याएं थी उन पर भी चर्चा हुई। मैं मंत्रालय की ओर से इन सभी किसान यूनियनों का आभार प्रकट करता हूं जो बिल के समर्थन में दिल्ली आए।
Following the meet, farmers said that they wholeheartedly support the new farm laws.
कहीं शंका थी कि एमएसपी जारी रहना चाहिए, मंत्री जी ने उसको बिल्कुल क्लियर किया कि एमएसपी जारी रहेगी। नई चीजें भी किसानों ने मांग की कि मंडियों का आधुनिक मतलब मॉडर्नाइजेशन होना चाहिए, वो उन्होंने अपने मांग पत्र में रखा। किसानों ने दो मांगे और की उसमें कि जो प्रायोरिटी सेक्टर का लैंडिंग है, जो ऋण है हमारा, वो क्या होता है कि वो संस्थाओं को हो जाता है, वो डायरेक्ट फार्मर्स को होना चाहिए। दूसरा जो मंडी क्षेत्र का सेस है, वो मंडी क्षेत्र का जो सेस है उस मंडी क्षेत्र में ही उसका डेवलपमेंट होना चाहिए। लेकिन कुल मिलाकर इस बात से संतुष्ट किसान थे कि हमारे एक नेता हैं अजीपाल प्रधान जी, उन्होंने बड़ी अच्छी बात कही, किसान आदमी है। उन्होंने कहा कि सब सुई बनाने वाले को अपनी कीमत तय करने का अधिकार है अपनी चीज का, तो आखिर किसान को अपनी फसल का मूल्य तय करने का अधिकार होना चाहिए जो भी लिए हमें देता है।
हमारी यूनियन ने इन तीनों कानूनों को पढ़ा है, इनका विश्लेषण किया है और विश्लेषण करने के बाद हम इस नतीजे पर पहुंचे कि ये तीनों कानून किसानों को फायदा देने वाले हैं। इन तीनों कानूनों के लागू होने से किसानों की दिशा में सुधार होगा, किसान की आर्थिक स्थिति बढ़ेगी, किसान के अंदर संपन्नता आएगी। नंबर एक बात। नंबर दो बात, फिर भी जो हमारे किसान भाई बैठे हैं वो भी हमारे अपने हैं। हमने माननीय मंत्री जी से कहा है कि जो इसमें भ्रांतियां हैं, जैसा कि किसानों को भय दिखाया जा रहा है कि एसडीएम जो है उनका शोषण करेगा, उसको दूर करने का काम किया जाए। किसानों को भय दिखाया जा रहा है कि मंडी समाप्त हो जाएगी, उसको दूर करने का काम किया जाए। किसानों को भय दिखाया जा रहा है कि एमएसपी से कम उनकी फसल बिकेगी, उसको दूर करने का काम किया जाए। माननीय मंत्री जी ने भी आश्वासन दिया है कि निरंतर हम बात कर रहे हैं, करेंगे।
हम ये चाहते हैं संशोधन जो वे किसान बैठे ना, तो उस पक्ष में नहीं, तो सरकार के पक्ष में है कि ये हमारे तीनों बिल रहने चाहिए, इनको ऐसा ना कभी आप कैंसिल कर दें।
Prime Minister Narendra Modi will address the centenary celebrations of the Visva Bharati University, Shantiniketan, tomorrow morning via video conferencing. The Governor of West Bengal and Union Education Minister will also be present on the occasion. Founded by Gurudev Rabindranath Tagore in 1921, Visva Bharati is also the oldest central university in the country. In May 1951, Visva Bharati was declared to be a central university and an institution of national importance by an Act of Parliament. The university followed the pedagogy devised by Gurudev Tagore, though gradually it evolved in the format in which modern universities developed elsewhere. The Prime Minister is the Chancellor of the university.
In Jammu and Kashmir Union Territory, the results of the 244 DDC seats out of 280 seats that went to the polls recently have been declared. The BJP is leading the tally, winning 70 seats, followed closely by J&K National Conference with 56 seats. Independents have won 43 seats, while Mehbooba Mufti's People's Democratic Party bagged 26 seats. The Indian National Congress have won 21 seats so far, while J&K Apni Party has won 10 seats. CPIM got 6 seats, while J&K People's Conference bagged 5 seats. JKPM got 3 seats, while 2 seats have been won by J&K National Panthers Party. PDF and Bahujan Samaj Party have won 1 seat each.
Kashmir embracing the change, Kashmir embracing the dance of democracy like never before. The DDC poll results have brought the BJP to the valley with a bang. The party opened up its account for the first time in Kashmir as its candidates posted emphatic victories in some seats. The electorate trusting Prime Minister's clarion call of Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas, Sabka Vishwas. In 3 districts of the valley, Srinagar, Bandipora and Pulwama, the BJP candidates won the polls and the party workers are ecstatic.
ये पूरे देश में जितने हमारे राष्ट्रवादी लोग हैं ये उनकी जीत है। कश्मीर में जिस प्रकार से इन्होंने माहौल बनाया था कि यहाँ शायद झंडा उठाने के लिए कोई नहीं होगा, ये उनके लिए एक जवाब है। और जो हमारे लोग हैं, हमारे प्रधानमंत्री के ऊपर उनका विश्वास है कि उन्होंने भारतीय जनता पार्टी को आज यहाँ पे पहली सीट श्रीनगर से जीत के दे दी है।
The party leaders have called the results as victory of democracy. DDC election in charge and Union Minister Anurag Thakur has termed the developments as realization of Prime Minister's dream. BJP leader Shahnawaz Hussain has called it a people's victory.
70 वर्षों में पहली बार जम्मू कश्मीर की जनता को ये अवसर मिला कि डीडीसी के चुनाव में वो मतदान कर सके और प्रसन्नता की बात ये है कि न केवल मतदान किया बल्कि बढ़ चढ़कर भाग लिया। रिकॉर्ड मतदान भी हुआ, लोगों की जनभागीदारी भी हुई और निष्पक्ष चुनाव हुआ है। डराने का प्रयास किया गया, धमकाने का प्रयास किया गया, लेकिन लोगों ने बढ़ चढ़कर भाग लिया। ये लोकतंत्र की जीत है।
पूरा देश जिस तरह मोदी जी के साथ है, जम्मू और कश्मीर भी प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी के साथ चल रहा है। हमारे विरोधी ने इकट्ठे होकर चुनाव लड़ा, एनसी, पीडीपी, कांग्रेस सब मिल गए, लेकिन भारतीय जनता पार्टी ने कमल खिलाकर जम्मू कश्मीर के अंदर दिखा दिया।
The Gupkar alliance has emerged as the largest bloc, followed by the BJP. Interestingly, many independents have also tasted victories and they will be playing a crucial role in days to come.
बहुत खुशी ये सब यूथ का है, यूथ ने मुझे जिताया। अब यूथ के लिए अपने जिन्होंने मुझे जिताया उनके लिए काम करना है।
After the Article 370 was nullified in Jammu and Kashmir, the DDC elections were first elections where polls were conducted in 8 phases for 280 seats in Jammu and Kashmir. News 9 Desk, DD India.
And for the latest on that, we're joined in by our correspondent Rama Tyagi in Kashmir. Rama, 244 seats, the result on 244 seats has been announced till now out of 280 seats. Even before, the counting closes, I would want you to let us know which way are the election results expected. We tell our viewers that BJP is leading the tally by winning 70 seats, followed closely by J&K National Conference with 50 seats. Now, BJP leading the pack there in Jammu and Kashmir, very evident of people there willing to vote for progress and optimism ahead, prosperity ahead in Jammu and Kashmir?
Yes, Preeti, is showing many aspects of people's aspiration, common man's aspirations towards development, towards peace, towards new Kashmir. Not only we are watching, we are observing, the world is observing the result of Jammu Kashmir, the first ever election after 370, and the way people came in large number, they voted in large number, and the way results are coming, BJP got first seat in Srinagar, first time ever in history. This is also we can call a history. And the other two seat in Valley, when we talk about Valley, this is first time in very sensitive areas people voted for BJP. It seems that it is clear that they want development. They are not believing in false promises. They are not believing in confusions which were and misguidings and other things which made them confused. Now a clear vision ahead of themselves that how they can get progress, and the way BJP ministers, they went to far-flung areas, and PM Modi's vision of development, Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas. So they marked a stamp on that, and it is very important. And if you see the overall result, BJP seats are according to present tally, BJP got 71 seats.
Right.
Final result is yet to come, and if we see that 7 parties alliance, no doubt it's they got more than BJP. But if we segregate the result, if we party wise see the result, as of now BJP is the single largest party according to present result. We have to wait till the final result. So it's a big victory for BJP and not for DDC election. It paves way for other political activities, other democratic activities in the valley in Jammu and Kashmir.
Right, Rama, even as the way is now paved for other democratic and political activities in Jammu and Kashmir as a union territory, what would be the role of the DDCs? Take us through what role the DDCs could play in the future development of the union territory.
DDC will strengthen the 3-tier Panchayati Raj system in the valley, which was not there earlier. Panchayat elections were there, but they were held in a different way in previous years, and BDC conducted after a long time, after 28 years, BDC election conducted in the valley, and this is first time ever in history. So it will strengthen the 3-tier Panchayati Raj system in Jammu and Kashmir, which is very essential for the development of villages, for the development of rural area, for the development of far-flung area. And since long, when we went to during election different villages, different far-flung areas, the infrastructure was completely broken. They don't have even basic amenities over there. Roads were broken. Water is a big problem. Power is a big problem. Healthcare facilities were not there, and at different places good institutions are not there. So people want these things, and they want above all they want their share in power also. They were saying that they are happy that people among them, they are getting chance to be in political system. Earlier it was not possible. It was a dream for them. Now their brother, they got ticket, their sisters got ticket, and they fought in election, right. And they are feeling a kind of equivalent citizenship in the valley in Jammu and Kashmir. Earlier there were some families, according to them, these are not my words, they were saying that there were some families who were privileged, only some group of people, they were getting the benefits of everything. Now a common man is getting benefits, a common man is getting his share in power. So this is the main thing in these elections.
All right, so these elections were about the empowerment, about the progress, the success of the common man there. Thank you so much, Rama, for joining us with those inputs. We'll come back to you again during the day once the complete and the entire results are announced. All right, from here we change our focus to Arunachal Pradesh now. In Arunachal Pradesh, around 53% voters have cast their votes for local body elections in the state. The State Election Commission Secretary Nyali Ete said in Itanagar that at several districts, polling was continuing in different polling stations even after 4 p.m. and the final poll percentage is likely to increase After all, the poll data will be available. Out of the total 4,89,423 voters, more than 2,58,000 voters exercised their franchise in the polls held yesterday. Out of the total 8,475 seats for Gram Panchayat and Zilla Parishad in the two-tier Panchayat system, 6,500 have already been declared elected unopposed. Now, the contest was held for only 1,843 seats.
Union Education Minister Ramesh Pokhriyal Nishank has said that the CBSE exams for classes 10 and 12 will not be held in the months of January and February 2021. The Education Minister in a tweet said, "I received a lot of requests from various students and teachers to postpone CBSE India 29 board exams for class 10 and 12, keeping COVID-19 pandemic in mind, and after various consultations, we have decided that board exams will not be held in February." The Education Minister added that exact dates will be announced soon. Our government is in favor of students.
In an early morning incident of gas leak from a chemical plant in Prayagraj, 2 persons are reported dead while 16 have been taken ill. NDRF teams are present at the spot. To get us more on that, Ramendra is joining us. Ramendra, gas leak incident has been reported from a chemical plant in Prayagraj. Spell out more details. We tell our viewers that 2 persons are reported dead while 16 have been taken ill.
कि ये प्रयागराज के फूलपुर में इफ्को यूरिया का कारखाना स्थित है और किसानों के बीच बड़ा लोकप्रिय यूरिया जो उर्वरक है बड़ा लोकप्रिय है। इसमें जो अमोनिया गैस जिससे यूरिया बनती है उस अमोनिया गैस में रिसाव हो गया था और ये घटना रात की है। रात में लोगों को सांस लेने में दिक्कत हुई और कई लोग बिल्कुल बेहोश होने लगे, तो प्लांट बंद कर दिया गया और इनको चिकित्सा के लिए भेजा गया, जिनमें 2 लोगों की डेथ हो गई है। एनडीआरएफ ने पूरा मोर्चा संभाल लिया है, पूरी यूनिट को बंद कर दिया गया है। गैस का रिसाव ज्यादा ना हो इसके लिए सारे प्रबंध किए गए हैं। जो स्टाफ था उसको बाहर निकाल लिया गया है। तो अभी तक जो घटना वो 2 लोगों की डेथ है और 16 लोग इंजर्ड हैं। बाकी गैस का रिसाव ना, इसको लेकर के पूरी एनडीआरएफ टीम ने मोर्चा संभाला है और बाहर से लोगों को अंदर नहीं जाने दिया जा रहा। अंदर के स्टाफ को बाहर कर दिया है कि दुर्घटना बड़ी ना होने पाए किसी भी तरीके से।
Well, thank you very much, Ramendra, for those details and that update. So, 2 persons dead, 16 injured since reports last came in of a gas leak in Prayagraj. Our correspondent Ramendra keeping track of the details.
Yes, we'll get to other important news now. Let's get you an update on the COVID-19 situation.
Well, the new strain of coronavirus found in the United Kingdom has not been seen in India. The Union Health Ministry has informed that there is no cause of concern as of now. The government has issued standard operating procedure for those who have recently travelled to the UK. The ministry in its statement also warned that the changes in the spike protein of the virus may result in the virus becoming more infectious and spreading more easily between people.
India has registered several landmark achievements in the fight against the global pandemic. The situation has improved to a great extent in the country. Addressing the media, Dr. V.K. Paul, member Niti Aayog, said that there is no need to panic in view of the new variant of SARS-CoV-2 virus detected in the United Kingdom. Dr. Paul said that as yet, mutated strain of COVID-19 found in the UK has not been seen in India. However, the government is still monitoring the situation to prevent its spread.
जो पिछले कुछ दिनों में पैसेंजर्स यूके से आए हैं, जहां भी आए हैं उनके पहुंचो, उनको कांटेक्ट करें, उनकी क्लिनिकल कोई इश्यूज हुए, प्रॉब्लम हुई उसको समझें। उसके बाद अगर पॉजिटिव हैं तो जैसे पॉजिटिव्स को हम ट्रीट करते हैं, आइसोलेट करते हैं, वो होंगे। अगर वो नेगेटिव हैं तो वो क्वारंटाइन में रखा जाएगा, उनको वॉच किया जाएगा।
Dr. Paul also said that it's very unlikely that the new strain of coronavirus will have any impact on the effectiveness of vaccines being developed in India or anywhere in the world.
This mutation is not affecting severity of disease as we understand today. Number 2, does it increase the chances of death in that country जहां से आया, क्योंकि वहीं का ही ये knowledge है अभी? The answer is no. So the case fatality rate is not affected by this mutation. Hospitalization is not affected by this mutation. seriousness of the disease is not affected by this mutation. What is affected is tendency to infect more people.
We have now a new variant, the variant which was discovered in UK, and this variant is a little bit different. It has 9 mutations, not only a single mutations, and we don't know at the moment if our vaccine is also able to provide protection against this new variant. But scientifically, it is highly likely that the immune response by this vaccine also can deal with the new virus variant.
3 companies have sought emergency use approval of their vaccine candidates in India. Serum Institute and Bharat Biotechnology Company have provided their data to the expert panel of Central Drugs Standard Control Organization. No decision has been taken as yet. DD India.
An increasing number of countries have been announcing plans to ban flights from Britain following the decisions by several European nations to suspend travel from the United Kingdom following the emergence of a new, more transmissible strain of novel coronavirus in the country. Netherlands became the first major European country to announce a ban on flights to Britain, followed by neighbouring Belgium, which also halted British-bound trains using Channel Tunnel. Austria and Italy also later followed suit with their own UK travel restrictions. Ireland announced a minimum 48-hour ban on all flights from Britain effective from midnight on Sunday. France decided to suspend all travel from Britain for 48 hours starting on Sunday evening. The German government also planned to limit travel with Britain on Sunday. The Spanish and Portuguese governments have joined other European nations in suspending incoming flights from the United Kingdom. Poland and Russia have also taken steps to halt the spread of the new variant and decided to suspend flights from the United Kingdom. Besides this, a host of other nations around the world such as India, Pakistan, Jordan, Chile and Argentina have also issued travel bans to and from the UK.
And Project Sanjeevani, which is related to handling and redistribution of coronavirus vaccines, Delhi International Airport CEO Videh Kumar Jaipuriar on Monday said that both cargo terminals of Delhi Airport are equipped with cool chambers to handle the vaccines. Our correspondent Tapas Bhattacharya spoke to the CEO. This is what he had to say.
One of the major challenges for a country of a 1.3 billion population is to provide a vaccine for the coronavirus once it gets approved. And joining me is the CEO of Delhi International Airport to talk about their preparedness for this challenge.
We had been indicated by Ministry of Civil Aviation that Delhi is going to be one of the hubs, mostly because we have got the best connectivity across the country. So we have looked at it from various points, starting from arriving of the aircraft. So we are the only airport in the country which has got 12 cargo parking bays. So it's much easier for any cargo to be offloaded and get inside the terminal. For that transportation, so that the cool chain doesn't get broken, we have got what we call as cool dollies. So these are cool chambers on wheel, where different types of temperatures can be maintained. And then inside the terminal, we have got cool chambers at different temperatures. So whatever is the temperature requirement of a particular vaccine, it can be stored there. In case they are coming in a pre-cooled envirotainers, then we are providing them with plug points, and whichever envirotainers actually need dry ice refill, we are also providing with that facility. Once they are received, after that they need to go out. So we have made a special arrangement for all the COVID vaccine trucks, where there is a dedicated entry for them. They are supposed to book their time slot in advance, which is an online system at Delhi Airport. Typical turnaround time we have tried to minimize so that the vaccine actually comes in and leaves for the market at the soonest possible time.
What is the capacity of Delhi International Airport to accommodate these vaccines?
Based on the size of the box, which actually we had taken a trial, our capacity to stock in cold room is about 2.7 million vials. So It depends on the source, so it may vary a little bit because different boxes are of different sizes. So you can say anywhere between 2 to 2.5 million vials can be stocked at any time. And if you are able to turn it around faster, even 2 rotations, then about 4 to 5 million vials we can handle a day.
Appreciate your time. So that was CEO of Delhi International Airport, Vedya Kumar, briefing us about the preparedness of Delhi International Airport to fight in this fight against COVID-19. With camera person Mohit Joshi, this is Taposh Bhattacharya, TD India.
With many countries around the world confronting a second wave of COVID-19 and subsequently imposing lockdown again, worldwide trials of the vaccine to fight the continuing pandemic are on full throttle. Over the last decade, India has emerged as a global pharmaceutical and vaccine hub, producing about 60% of the world's vaccines. Out of this proportion, Hyderabad, the pharma hub and vaccine capital of India, has the capacity to be the formidable producer of over a third of global vaccine supply. Experts opine that the city will be an integral part of COVID-19 solution by virtue of its robust manufacturing technology and capacity to manufacture millions of doses as per the best-in-class industry practices. At this backdrop, Hyderabad Air Cargo has a major role cut out in the entire value chain of vaccine shipments to provide the necessary infrastructure for unbroken cool chain for the global vaccine shipments to maintain the vaccine integrity.
Hyderabad Air Cargo has been doing a great role in engaging with all the stakeholders, be it the vaccine manufacturers, be it the freight forwarders, the airlines and the destination airports, and also ensuring that we develop adequate capacity to store all these vaccines. So they have been very proactive, and we are very sure that Hyderabad Airport and the Hyderabad Air Cargo will play a major role in ensuring seamless distribution of all the vaccines as and when it starts.
And up next, we'll get you an update on the weather conditions in the national capital.
Right, so Delhi continues to shiver, Preeti, as even as temperatures dip further and further. The cold wave conditions are predicted further in parts of Delhi, where temperatures are expected to fall by a further 1 to 2 degrees Celsius in the next 2 days, according to the Met Department. After that, in the wake of an upcoming western disturbance likely to affect from the 26th of December, temperatures will again start rising. Very light rain is also expected over Delhi on the 27th of December. The Safdarjung Observatory, which provides representative data for the city, recorded a minimum of 5.6 degrees Celsius in the morning today at 5:30 a.m. The observatory had earlier recorded a minimum of 3.4 degrees Celsius on Sunday, which was the lowest this season so far. Joining us now is our correspondent Tapas Bhattacharya, who's covering all the inputs coming in from the IMD and others related to the weather. A very good morning to you, Tapas. Delhi continues to shiver, although it appears today we are a bit better than we were yesterday at 3.4.
In fact, good morning to both Rukma and Preeti. Yes, there is a bit of a cold wave condition in some parts of Delhi, not the whole overall the overall state, but there are some parts which is experiencing some sort of a cold wave condition. It's expected to be the same in the next couple of days. In fact, as far as IMD, it is expected that on 24th, it will the temperature is likely to fall by 3 degrees. So that is one part where one expects. Remember on Sunday when it touched the 3.4 degrees Celsius. After that, we predicted that the next 2 days there will be better condition for Delhiites. They will get some respite, and it was the same case because of the feeble western disturbance at that time also. And now, once the western disturbance has once again going to play an important role. And one expects that 23rd, 24th, till in fact 25th, one expects the mercury to plunge almost to 3 degrees Celsius, and after that it is expected to once again rise because of the western disturbance. So one does feel that this particular cold wave condition will be prevalent in Delhi. In fact, it is going to be there till a few days more, and it is expected that on 27th because of the particular western disturbance, one will get the Delhiites will get a light drizzle or light rain in some parts of the city. So that's the main news coming in. So people yesterday, in fact, people who felt the Delhi weather was getting a little warmer, they were in for a rude shock when the morning they get up and the temperature was showing over just a bit over 5 degrees Celsius, and it is expected to fall again in the next couple of days. Rukma.
All right, Tapas. So light drizzle expected on 27th in the city, even as temperatures and the mercury continue to plunge. Thank you so much, Tapas, for joining us with those inputs. And time now to get to our next segment, that is Across the Globe, wherein we get you a hint of all that's been making it to the headlines from the international world.
Well, the COVID situation not improving that much, particularly in the UK, even as strict lockdowns are continuing to get imposed as Christmas approaches. We're just one day away from the festivities. Let's take a look in Across the Globe.
Let's take a look at the updates on COVID-19 situation from across the world first. COVID-19 pandemic continues to loom around the world, infecting more than 7 crore 83 lakh people, while the tally of recoveries has crossed 5 crore 50 lakh worldwide. The virus has claimed over 17 lakh 22,000 lives globally. The US remains worst affected from COVID-19 with more than 1 crore 86 lakh cases of the infection and over 3 lakh 30,000 fatalities, followed by Brazil in terms of death toll, where around 1 lakh 80,000 lives have been lost due to COVID-19 pandemic.
And on to some other non-COVID international news. Israel will hold a snap election in March after Parliament on Tuesday failed to meet a deadline to pass a budget. Campaigning in Israel's fourth parliamentary election in 2 years gets underway, with Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu facing public anger over his handling of the coronavirus pandemic. Israel's longest-serving leader will also have to contend with a new rival from the right, Gideon Sa'ar, who is a defector from Netanyahu's Likud party. Netanyahu and the current defense minister Benny Gantz have been locked in a dispute over passage of a national budget key to implementing a deal in which Gantz was to have taken over from Netanyahu in November 2021.
All right, after that segment, we now get you the web review. It is a segment wherein one of our colleagues joins in and gets us a hint of everything that has been put forth in the web portals of the social media.
Well, Vishal Baristo joins us with more on what's trending on the web and on social media. Vishal, it's over to you.
Well, a very good morning to you, Rukma and Preeti. Now, it's been very cold morning, yes, in Delhi, and we are all feeling the cold. But let's see what the newspapers have to say. And starting off with the Times of India, now it's talked about the Jammu Kashmir DDC elections results. Why poll outcome is big boost for centre. Obviously, after 370 with the Gupkar Alliance participating and BJP making a pan Jammu and Kashmir presence, it's definitely a big boost for the centre and surely for the ruling BJP. And now look at what the Indian Express has to say. It says that it talks about the farmers. It says government wants farmers back at table. Says has an open mind. Now government, especially the Agriculture Minister, is quite confident that the reform initiatives will help the farmers. We all know that the farmers have been sitting in for 28 days now, and but the government is not giving in. It is the time and again asking the farmers to come to the tables to talk and trying to convince the ruling BJP, also asking NDA rather, also asking its ministers for an outreach program, talking to the farmers, trying to convince them that how this is going to be a big boost for the farmers, especially the small and marginal farmers. And now again going to the Indian Express, it talks about the new variant of COVID, and it says that a new strain not in India, says government, issues SOPs for visitors from United Kingdom. According to scientists, despite mutations, no negative impact on all the vaccines. Now this is something good news coming out after the new variant shocked the world, because we were all hoping that this is going to be finally a reasonably good Christmas and a year end with COVID coming down, but the new variant again sending some apprehensions and also at the same time some kind of strain. But this news gives us something to cheer. Let's go to the Times of India, and it reads that the Serum Institute submits more data for emergency use license. SII is manufacturing and testing the Oxford AstraZeneca COVID vaccine. So again, some more good news coming from the Hindustan Times. And in the last, I will go back to the Times of India, and it talks about the joint venture with the Chinese player, and it reads, joint venture with Chinese player disqualified for Vande Bharat train set projects. Let me tell you that it's a joint venture worth 1800 crore meant for manufacturing 44 Vande Bharat train sets. Obviously, with China not behaving at the borders, trying to cross the limits, definitely it was much expected, and the decision has been taken to disqualify the joint venture. Back to you, Rukma. I beg your pardon, Preeti and Rukma.
All right, Vishal, thank you so much for joining us with that web review.
And well, Vishal Baristo there joining us with what's trending on the web. Time now for some sports news. Union Sports Minister Kiren Rijiju virtually inaugurated 8 Khelo India State Centres of Excellence across India. The 8 states include Manipur, Arunachal Pradesh, Mizoram, Kerala, Telangana, Nagaland, Karnataka and Odisha. Speaking on the event, Rijiju said this is a very important beginning. To develop sports culture and excellence in the country, the Khelo India State Centres of Excellence are being started in addition to the National Centres of Excellence. Rijiju further said we cannot be satisfied with only 1 or 2 medals. We have to be in the top 10 in the 2028 Olympics. With a vision to make India one of the top 10 countries in the 2028 Games, the Khelo India State Centres of Excellence will ensure that athletes proficient in a certain sport are given world-class specialized training.
Up next, we get you the health tip of the day to make sure that you remain in good health and spirits. Infants and toddlers commonly have a habit of thumb sucking when they are in need of soothing or going to sleep. Thumb sucking affects the development of the teeth, jaw and the palate. The habit can also change how your child eats and speaks. If your thumb or finger sucking child is 3 years old or above, it's time to break the habit. How? Watch this in this report.
Thumb sucking is a common habit among children. Because thumb sucking makes babies feel secure, some babies might eventually develop a habit of thumb sucking when they are in need of soothing or going to sleep.
If the child or the baby is not able to overcome the thumb sucking habit beyond the age of 4 years, then it is a cause for concern. Once the habit is prolonged beyond 4 years, you will expect some dental problems like dental protrusion, and this can be unsightly and it can be non-complementary to the patient's personality. It also spoils the alignment of the teeth. Because of the thumb pressure, the upper teeth, front teeth, they come out, they don't look good, and the jaw becomes narrow, development is troubled. Secondly, if the teeth will come out, the child will not be able to close the lips and the good looks of the child will be lost.
If the habit continues beyond the age of 5 or 6, the pressure and the sucking motion may affect the teeth and begin to make changes to the mouth and teeth. It may result in increased problems for the child.
I would request the parents to help the child to overcome this habit by motivation, by psychotherapy, by suggestion and by reward. Most often, parents will not be successful. If they are not successful, they should not worry. They should meet the dentist, the orthodontist, the pedodontist. These specialists They will help you to solve the problem. They will give you appliances which can be fitted in the child's mouth, which will take away the pleasure of thumb sucking from the child. Once the pleasure of thumb sucking is lost, the child will not suck his thumb. Parents should not worry. They should be very calm and very supportive to their child. Most probably the child does not want to suck the thumb anymore, but he cannot overcome the habit alone. He needs support, he needs professional help.
Thumb sucking can be a difficult habit for a child to break. Understand the problem and find out what can be done to help the child to get rid of the problem of thumb sucking. Kiran Bhardwaj, DD News.
Alright, so that was the health tip of the day for the infants and the toddlers. Up next, we'll take a look at the weather report.
Fall in minimum temperature by 1 to 3 degrees Celsius over some parts of plains of northwest India and central India during the next 3 days. No significant change in minimum temperature over some parts of West India in the next 2 days and rise by 2 to 3 degrees Celsius thereafter for subsequent 3 days. No significant change in temperatures over remaining parts of the country in the next 2 to 3 days.
Cold wave conditions at isolated pockets are likely over Punjab, Haryana, Chandigarh and Delhi, West Uttar Pradesh today, with cold wave to severe cold wave conditions over the same region tomorrow and day after tomorrow as well. Cold wave to severe cold wave conditions are also likely over Odisha, East Uttar Pradesh, Ganges, West Bengal, Chhattisgarh and Telangana, over Himachal Pradesh, Uttarakhand and Bihar. Cold day conditions are also to persist in Bihar over the next 2 days. Moderate to dense fog in the morning hours is also expected over Punjab and Haryana, Chandigarh and Delhi.
Time now for temperatures across the country.
And with that, we come to the end of this edition of Breakfast Show.
Well, and as always, we leave you with some glimpses to make your day all that better, to leave you with a good thought. Christmas preparations in Paris are the glimpses for today, where the spirits of fall are lifted by festive lights and street decorations despite the pandemic. Take a look.
But before we go, we have this quick reminder for you all. Remember, even though we are showing the recovery rate of more than 95%, but still it is not the time to sit back and relax. Be part of the Mask Up India initiative. A mask, when worn properly, is the best defense against COVID-19. It's just a simple task. Wear a mask, but wear it properly and correctly. With that, we'll end this edition of Breakfast News here. Bye-bye.
Namaskar.